I'm always the villain.
Define the
So
queen.
who else is he gonna be? If not me, who else? Take that title. I'll take it.
You know when a guy stops talking to you and you just know you were the problem? Like, oh my God, is that your grandpa? And he was like, no, Kim, that's my mom.
Capacity to meet your relational needs. And if you're lucky enough, you'll realize that 95, if not more, percent of them don't.
Never been in a relationship before where I've sabotaged it, you know, like it's always ended due to the other person cheating.
Yesterday, now I hate you. It's not you, it's me. I'm the problem. I got the problem.
Ever told is that you can be adequately prepared for disappointment. The truth is that even if you leave room for it, disappointment still hurts, just as much as it would have hurt if you hadn't left any room for disappointment. It's funny because growing up, we were always told, don't get too excited, don't count your chickens before they hatch, don't get too optimistic, because once you do that, then you're gonna get disappointed. And it's like disappointment is this thing that we keep running away from. You know, we're so fearful of it, and that fear is instilled from the time we're very, very young. And without our parents or our families realizing it, what they were actually doing is putting us in a position of having a continuous negative disposition, right? Because what are you doing when you're preparing for disappointment? You're actually telling the universe that this may not happen. And why do you need to tell the universe that? Let the universe work it out for itself. Do you know what I mean? I go into everything now as an adult with 100% confidence that I am going to get it, that it is going to happen. And if I do get disappointed, oh well, guess what? I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die. But I refuse to live my life in a constant fear that things may not work out the way that I want them to. Because even if they don't work out the way that I want them to, it's not going to kill me. What we should actually be teaching our children, and what our parents should have taught us, is how to deal with disappointment, how to handle being let down. Just last week, I got some really bad news, right? And I was so gutted. I remember looking at my phone, looking up at my man, and I was like, yo, I'm so disappointed, but I actually can't speak right now because this hurts so much. I don't even have the capacity to talk about it. And I was gutted for 2-3 days. Guess what? I'm back. Ready to take on the world. That particular thing, it didn't work out. It didn't work out, but that's life. Sometimes things don't work out, but are we going to rob ourselves of joy and excitement because we're afraid that it might not play out the way we want it to play out? In the best relationship you've been in years, and you don't want to post about it because you're afraid of disappointment. You don't want to be joyful about the fact that, yo, I found a good woman or I found a good man, because you're scared of disappointment. You go into it, whether it's the business, the relationship, whatever it is, half holding back because you're afraid of disappointment. You're not living in the now. You're not living.
I was with her until she said that part. When you said that part, you lost me, and I'll tell you why. It depends on where you're at, right? It does. When it comes to relationship, like everything else, positive about business, yes, stay positive. You worried about if you're gonna get that job, probably not gonna happen, but stay positive. But look for other ways to make it happen, right? With relationships, you never know who you're getting into it with. I understand why guys feel disappointed. Girls, I don't know. I don't. Why? Because a lot of times you're not choosing the right people. But guys, that's like I was with you till you said that.
And sometimes I wake up with new feelings every day. I go to sleep. I like you. We cool. I wake up. I think that you did or you said, the way you looked at me yesterday. Now I hate you. It's not you. It's me. I'm the problem. I got the problem.
Yeah. Sounds like issues, and more of saying it. Just stating, look, I'm the issue. And it should be stated, right? That wishy washy attitude, I like you, I don't, that's not just you. That is the modern woman, to be honest. And you have to be honest. A lot of guys know that already. That's why men have checked out. Not because they want to, but because they have to. The fact that you're admitting the problem now, maybe you can do something about it, right? Because from the way you're saying this, it doesn't seem like you want to change. After I'm going to be the same. That same knuckle attitude. That's what it is.
I've always been okay with being the problem because I'm always the problem.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm always the villain.
The
So
Bionic Queen.
who else is it going to be? If not me, who else?
Yeah,
Nobody else want to take that title. I'll take it. And sometimes people will do the same thing as me, but they still won't be the villain. It'll always be me because it's me. And I accept that too. I feel like everybody be doing, but I be saying, and I just don't accept it. I got questions. Why? Why did you do that? Or everybody sitting back, waiting to talk about it when we leave. Like, why we gotta do that? Why we can't just say it? You can't address shit. You can't talk about shit. You gotta be quiet. Don't say nothing. Oh, if you say something, you definitely the problem. It's just normal to play in people's face, but it's not normal for me. So I'm gonna say something. I'm the problem, but nobody wanna get away from me though. It's me. It's me. It's me. Yes, I'm the problem. I'm the villain. I did it. Whatever it is, I did it. I said it. Okay.
Your attitude. That's the problem. And she doesn't realize it, right? Now, if you want to say what you're saying, you say a man feels that you complain too much, maybe because he's cheating, right? Because that's what it sounds like to me. You're talking about a man complaining that's cheating. You're the problem for keeping him. You are. And you're causing yourself more of a problem by staying with him. But you won't know that though. Why? Because you feel he's everything. Maybe he pops the most guns. He sells the most drugs. Something. It's some reason why you like him. You actually like the fact that he gets with other girls. So yes, you are the problem. And I think more of you need to realize it. Especially in a situation like this, like the Bionic Queen.
Okay, you know when a guy stops talking to you and you just know you were the problem? One time this guy was showing me like photos of his family, and we get to this one photo and there's this like really suave guy like in the back of the photo. He had white hair, he was wearing a white button down, and I look at him and I'm like, oh my God, is that your grandpa? And he was like, no, Kim, that's my mom. And I wanted to die. His mother looked like a man, hand on heart, and he never spoke to me again.
Oh man, I don't know though. You know, somebody's just hard in the face. That was funny though. She thought it was like she's clowning. She's clowning. A girl like her, like seriously, that hurt his feelings. It could have been that bad though. Like I don't know. I didn't see it. I'd have to see the picture because I'd see it and go, "Oh, it's a good thing he left you." Because you're a smart aleck. She comes across like one of those girls, doesn't she? I'm sorry, the eyes. Look in the eyes. Look, the camera's still right now. It's not moving. Look in the eyes. Look, I'm the problem. See how they, I'm the problem. Yes, me. I did it to hurt his feelings. Dead wrong.
And enhance your life. That's, of course, if you apply the revelation, because hearing without application is a false alarm to the devil. Today, let's talk levels. Don't get out of here just yet. Listen to this to the end. You live life on levels. Let's start here. When you were born, you don't know who you are. When you were 5 years old, you didn't know who you were. You only knew your name and what your family said about you. When you turned 25, you still didn't know who you were. You only knew your name, what your family, your friends, your community said about you, and what the internet said about you. That's because your true identity is locked away in Christ Jesus. Your identity is found in your assignment. You will never find your identity without getting into your assignment, and you will never get into your assignment without getting into Christ. And I'm not just talking about becoming a Christian. That's the religious aspect of the walk. I'm talking about becoming Christ-like and saying yes to the call on your life, even when you don't know what that call is. It's being willing to sacrifice your plans and everything that you want and everybody else's plans for you to follow Christ. So if he told you, for example, to move to Missouri, even though Missouri may not be a place that you want to live, you'd move to Missouri simply because he told you to. If he tells you or he told you to join a church, you join that church and you would do whatever it is that he told you to do in that church. As you're doing this, you're going to go from babe in Christ to child of God to son of God or daughter of God. These are levels. And even as a babe in Christ, there are levels to that. As a child of God, there are levels to that. And when you elevate or you grow up and mature into a son of God, and we say son of God, that can be daughter of God as well. When you mature into that, there are levels to that. Those levels are dependent upon how often and how much you seek God. Most people understand without understanding that there are depths and sides of God. And believe it or not, most people don't want to get to see or get to know every side of God. But you were created in his image. So every side of him that you don't know is a side of you that's going to be void, null, and
She's right, but a lot of people are just not trying to do that, and they don't understand. Now, I would never. I would pick Christian content on YouTube, but it's going to be a little different. The Christian content I place will be something to spark the minds, and then I can do the work. But other than that, what she's talking about, a lot of people can't comprehend, right? They can't comprehend the steps because it's a walk. And I do think more people need to say, hey, come into my heart. I want to get to know you. I want to start to commune with you and start that way. Then you can be a babe. Then you can see if you're fit for the other things. But a lot of people don't want to take that walk.
And I saw a post that said, it ain't much love out here. It's just people using people until they no longer need them. And wow, that kind of hurt. That really hurt. When I sit and I reflect back over all the times I felt like I was just used in the end, showed nothing but pure, genuine love, support, care, all of that. Only to realize in the end, when they no longer needed me, I was used. Do you know how it feels to be full of love in this world? And it feels like everybody that you come in contact with, everybody that you let your guard down for, everybody that you let in, ends up being full of crap. Do you know how that feel for real? It's like when you got a good heart, you don't know how to show up other than with love, with pure, real, authentic love. And it's like the whole time, people's intentions do not be pure. People's motives do not be right. But you don't find out until the end after you realize they didn't use you. It's so scary out here, y'all. Protect your heart. Guard your heart.
Yeah, I mean, that happens with friends, everything, and you can't stress it. Like, I'm at the age, people can't do me wrong. Seriously, you put yourself not to stay away from people. All I do, I'm a social. I like socializing. I'm around people all the time, but you keep it to a certain length. So when something goes wrong, you're not fazed by it. You gotta just keep brushing it off your shoulder. You gotta do like Jay-Z. Get that dirt off my shoulder. You singing that song all through your life. This lady did this to you. This guy did that to you. But it comes with age, though. It comes with age and understanding that people are no good. They can't help it. Sometimes they don't know it. They're not used to seeing what they're doing as wrong. And you can't stress it either.
Greatest disappointments as a woman is realizing the kind of relationship that men actually want with you. Because you're really walking through life as a woman thinking that every man even has the capacity to meet your relational needs. And if you're lucky enough, you'll realize that 95, if not more, % of them don't. They don't have the capacity to meet your relational expectations. They cannot meet you where you are at with your relational skills because theirs are down here. Their relational skills are basic and simple. Their relational skills extend to 1 or 2 out of 10. Because for most men, relating to someone is a very narcissistic pursuit, right? They're like, do you have my same interests? That's the only question that they ever want to ask of other people. Not like, oh, what makes you different? Or what can I learn from you?
Not true.
Any kind of curiosity towards anything else,
That's
really.
not true.
It's literally like, do we like the same video games? No, then we can't hang out. Do we play the same sport? No, then...
that shows where your mind level is on. Like, there are different kinds of men. What are you talking about? You don't know every man on this earth. Some men are 10 times more deeper than you. She has no clue.
then we can't hang out. They're very cliquey, actually, because their relational
Wow.
skills extend to, do you like what I like? Not only that,
No, it
but
doesn't.
men a lot of times tend to only view other men even as human beings. So, like, even with that being said, the way that they relate to other men is still going to be better than
This
the
is
way
the
that they
problem.
relate to you, if you can believe it. They
Mm-mm.
don't even think that you're like a real person most of the time. They think you're just like an appliance that they have to charm, and then it's just going to work like clockwork for the rest of their life, doing all of their dirty work and pumping out their children. They actually
Oh,
expect to
wow.
treat you worse than they treat the men that they have something in common with, which is the extent to which they can relate to those men. It is the extent. This is why we have a male loneliness epidemic. This is why men are like, nobody gives us compliments. We're lonely and nobody wants to talk to us and it's so hard to make friends because y'all are simple and basic. The patriarchy has taken things from you and you don't care. You don't fight to get those back because you'd rather just
What?
be the top dog at the top of the food chain. And it's
All
actually like a
right,
really big
man.
price to pay because it comes at the cost of your self-development, self-fulfillment even. Because most men are really just chasing the next achievement, whether it's like in real life or a video game or site or whatever. Like they're just chasing their next high, their next dopamine hit. And once things start to get too serious or too complicated, they want to throw in the towel right away because they haven't gone through the self-development of being taught radical responsibility.
You know, it was wild. She's talking, and I'm thinking it's actually the opposite. That's what men are doing. Even look at the date marker now, you can see men have spoken, right? By not speaking. It's the opposite. Men are buckling down and saying, you know what, I have to get my life in order. I have to get everything I'm doing in alignment with where I want to be in the future. Men are watching. And they're watching you right now going, same faces I'm making, like, huh? So you know everybody. If that's what you think about every man, she's never gonna have a good relationship. Never. Or that's what you're attracting. Seriously. It has to be. Because men are a lot deeper than you think. There are a lot of men that are how you're saying, but not every man. Let me get on to the next video.
Through today, it's been really, really hard. I slept for an hour. I was going to say last night. Not even last night. I fell asleep. This morning at 7 a.m. till 8 a.m. I've eaten a sandwich and 2 slices of pizza. I just feel numb now. I have no tears left to cry today. I've been constantly in and out of crying, like even at work, just trying to hold back the tears. I got out of work, I absolutely burst into tears all the way home. I said to myself, right, I'm not going to cry. But I've
What
kind
did
of
you do?
realised how much of an impact the gambling had.
Camping.
And the
Oh.
worst part is that that's on me. Like, that's my fault. And I've never been in a relationship before where I've sabotaged it, you know? Like, it's always ended due to the other person cheating or the other person being abusive. And the fact that I heavily contributed to that. What I'm trying to say, if anybody is in a relationship and you're gambling, please don't risk losing your relationship. Because I've got better from my addiction. Like, since June, I've been recovering. I've had a couple of relapses, but I've, actively been in recovery, and it was too late. Like, if the truth is told, it was too late because the damage had already been done. And although I chose to forgive myself for the pain and hurt that I caused other people can't always forgive and accept that so easily. That stays with them. And for the first time in my life, I hate the casino. I hate it for what it's done.
Man, it sounds like she's not breaking it all the way down, but I understand. With gambling comes drinking, comes cheating. Like, seriously, you just spiral out of control. It's so many things that's connected to it. That addiction comes with so many other addictions, right? Stealing, She probably stole the rent money a couple of times. She probably, had to pay for something, didn't pay for it. He got the lights turned off. Like, I'm sure there was so much. And I can tell by the picture on the wall, she has a little daughter. And I can tell by the hair on that daughter's head, the black hair in her hair is like a blondish brown color. The daughter is mixed with Mexican or something like that. I know you guys like, man, just breaking down the pictures on the wall, but I'm very observant. I see it and I can tell that daughter's mixed, right? So she had a guy who I'm sure who was accepting, a Spanish man, like he got with you, and it had to be too much. But yeah, you got kids. Imagine her wasting bill money. You probably wouldn't forgive her either. I'm serious. Depending on what she done, I'd have to leave. I wouldn't see a way out. Gambling is one of those things. The person gets caught up with it, but then they get caught up with not being responsible. That's the big thing of why a lot of men can't do it, or women for that matter.
Traveled Route 66 alone in full-blown
That's what comes with it.
alcoholism. Story time. So before I realized I was an alcoholic, before I got sober, before I got help, before any of that, I had always known that my mental health was como se garbage in Espanol, trash, right? I had known that, and in fact, I had like embraced it and made it like a quirky personality trait, like insufferable. But one of the most diabolical periods in my mental health was my freshman year of college. Okay, I went into my freshman year of college dating the same person that I had dated my junior and senior year of high school. This was a problem, okay? He was a Taurus, I was a Sagittarius. It was never going to work, and I tried to make it work, okay? Tauruses notoriously have driven me back. And not in a cute way, if there is even a cute way. And here's the thing. We had issues in high school with my drinking, with our overall compatibility. We had every problem that normal, sane people would say, hey, let's break up. Like, we need to do that. And I remember like going on a walk one time with like my childhood best friends and like telling them about our relationship. And they were like, Riley, that is a red dot relationship. I didn't even know what that was. I went to public school, y'all. So freshman year comes around and he joins a fraternity. I join a sorority. I start hanging out with, him and his new fraternity brothers. And he's like, I can't have you around. You cannot be drinking like that. You embarrass me every time you get drunk. And I did. I did, okay? They'd say, name a brother. I knew every brother because when I got drunk, I got promiscuous and I was flirting with everybody. I was not a good girlfriend when I was under the influence, okay? And I have no excuse for it. I just genuinely sometimes like did not remember. Like flirting with his fraternity brother right in front of him, like, oh my God, like, you're really hot. Like, I wish my boyfriend was hot like you. They're like, isn't that your boyfriend? Right there. And so we ended up breaking up. From his perspective, it was because of my drinking. From my perspective, I was like, you hate me. And he would have abandoned me to be in a fraternity and go whatever you want. He was like, what is wrong with you? So actually, this is where things got really bad, okay? And I did not handle that breakup well at all. And you guys, I take full accountability. I am not trying to make light of the situation. There is nothing normal about getting so drunk that you're literally flirting with somebody right in front of your partner, okay?
Wow.
That's not cool. He had every right to break up with me. But sometimes I have to like look back and laugh because of how delusional I was. I blamed everything on him. I blamed everything that ever happened to me on everyone but myself. Okay. So this is like one of the most depressed I had ever felt in my life. Truly. My heart was broken in a million pieces. God. But here's the thing. We didn't just like go no contact. We were still very much in contact, hanging out, kissing, little something, other things. We were doing everything but putting a title on what we were. And that only made me more depressed because I know what that means. So I'm in this math class with one of my really good girlfriends from home, and we befriend these two girls that are from out of state. They're in a different sorority, but they're really cool, okay? All of a sudden, one of the girls like can't look me in the eye or talk to me or anything. I clocked that, okay? At this time in my life, I was crazy, okay? I'm like, there's something off here. Call it a women's intuition. I call it sanity. I'm like, I need to get on this man's social media as soon as possible, expeditiously. So I did. I had his Snapchat login, I had his Instagram login, I might as well have had his text messages routed to my phone. I go on a Snapchat. She's one of his best friends. The girl in my math class. I went crazy. Crazy. Oh my God. I should have been sedated or put down or something. And the thing is, I didn't have my solution, which was alcohol. Like, there were nights when I think back, like, I was crying hysterically, crashing out in my room alone, and alcohol would have fixed the problem. If I had access to it, I was drinking it. So, God, I was miserable without my solution, which would later become alcohol. Anyways, so basically I text him and I'm like, I know that you're Snapchatting her. And he's like, how the f do you know that? Get off my Snapchat. I know what you're doing, Riley. And I was like, just own up to it. He's like, you're in my Snapchat. You can see it. Yeah, I'm Snapchatting her. The audacity. So, of course, like, obviously, instead of, you know, crucifying him, I go after the girl, which, I mean, that's just not how you handle those situations. That's not how I'd handle it today. But I go after the girl. I'm like, and she's like, you guys aren't dating. You're my friend. You're my math girl. Anyways, one thing leads to another. He ends up breaking things off with her because he's like, I want to be with Riley. I'm just kidding. I don't even know how I can pull that one off. Convinced him. I don't know. And he comes to my dorm one night and we're like hanging out and I'm like, did you guys ever hang out? Like, I know you guys kissed once. That's another story for another time. But did you guys like ever hang out? Did you ever bring her to our friend's house? He was like, no. I don't know why that was important to me, but it was. He lied. How did I know? Because when he went to sleep, I saw it on his phone. And I flipped out. I threw his phone so hard against the wall that it shattered everywhere. It woke him up. He was like, what was that? I have never done anything like this in my life since, but I was like, oh, that was the sound of your phone hitting my wall. You guys, if your man ever has you at a point where you're doing that, just go. Take your dignity with you. Because I left mine at the door. He was like, you threw my phone at the wall? I was like, yeah, I just felt like it. Because I just ran through it and you lied up and down in my face. Needless to say, that relationship actually went on for another year and a half. It's not funny. It's not funny, but it is, in a sense, just a little window into like how I was mentally at this time in my life. And it really had nothing to do with him and everything to do with me. At this time in my life, I was so insecure. Okay. I was so down bad. I was depressed every day. I like wasn't even showing up for him as a partner. I just wanted somebody to come and be there for me while I wallowed in self-pity. And he like wasn't willing to do it. And I look back on those times and like I really had an impact on him and it wasn't chill. But you know, you live and you learn. I've learned a lot from that relationship actually. And I've learned about, you know, what not to do, who I am when I'm, you know, in an unhealthy relationship and what like my unhealthy relationship patterns look like. So I am grateful for it. But yeah, I have been the crazy girl that goes through the person's phone. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. And we ultimately did break up because of my drinking and other things. But yeah, so if you've been there, so have I. And if this has helped one person, then I've done my job today. Thank you guys so much for listening, as always. And stay tuned for more. Love you. Bye.